Before Rome, before Egypt's pyramids cast their long shadows across the Nile, there was a land nestled between two rivers, Mesopotamia. Its very name in Greek means the land between the rivers. Here, in the Fertile Crescent cradled by the Tigris and the Euphrates, humanity began its first grand experiment in civilization. 5,000 years ago, this region, now southern Iraq, became home to the Sumerians. They were pioneers, visionaries. They built some of humanity's very first cities, Uruk, Uruk, and Lagash. Imagine these sprawling settlements, each protected by thick mud brick walls, with grand temples reaching for the sky and intricate canals weaving through the landscape like lifelines. But their greatest innovation was an idea that would change the world forever. Writing. They called it cuneiform. Using a reed stylus, they pressed wedge-shaped marks into tablets of wet clay. At first, it was a practical tool for keeping records, tracking grain, counting sheep, and levying taxes. But this simple accounting system soon blossomed into profound. It became a vessel for poetry, a conduit for prayers, and the foundation for the world's first written laws, codifying justice for the first time. In the bustling metropolis of Uruk, a legendary ruler named Gilgamesh was said to have reigned. His story, immortalized in the world's oldest known epic poem, is a timeless tale of profound friendship, the capricious nature of the gods, and humanity's eternal, desperate search for immortality. These are themes that resonate deeply within us, echoing in the stories we still tell today. The Sumerians were also monumental architects. They constructed ziggurats, massive, stepped temple towers that seemed to connect the earth with the heavens. These were sacred spaces dedicated to a pantheon of powerful deities who governed the natural world. Enlil, the god of wind, Inanna, the goddess of love and war, and Nanna, the moon god of year. Each city had its own patron deity, and the will of the heavens, interpreted by priests who ruled alongside kings, guided every major decision, from planting crops to waging war. But with civilization came new challenges. The prosperity that bloomed from the fertile soil also sowed the seeds of conflict. These independent city-states, once isolated communities, now found themselves in competition. They fought fiercely for control of precious resources, arable land, and, most importantly, access to the life-giving waters of the rivers. Clay tablets discovered at Lagash detail bitter wars fought over irrigation canals, giving us the earliest recorded accounts of organized human conflict. Then, around 2400 BCE, a change began to stir in the north. New people, the Akkadians, began to migrate into Sumerian lands. They spoke a different language, a Semitic tongue, but they were quick learners. They traded with the Sumerians, intermarried, and absorbed their advanced culture, from their writing system to their religious beliefs. But they also brought with them a restless ambition that would soon reshape the entire region. From among these Akkadians rose a man whose name would become legend, Sargon. The stories of his origins sound like myth. They tell of a baby of humble birth, set adrift in a reed basket on the river, only to be rescued by a gardener and raised in the royal court of the city of Kish. It's a narrative that feels strangely familiar, echoing in later tales, including the story of Moses. In the ancient world, history and legend were often woven together into a single epic tapestry. Sargon's journey began in service, as a cupbearer to the king of Kish. But his vision and his cunning far outgrew his station. He didn't just want to serve a king, he wanted to be one. Through a combination of political skill and military might, he seized the throne, united the northern cities under his banner, and began a relentless march south, toward the heartland of Sumer. The Sumerian cities had thrived for centuries as independent, often quarreling powers. But Sargon saw something greater. He envisioned a single, unified land, governed by one ruler, bound by one destiny. In that audacious vision lay the birth of the Akkadian Empire, the very first empire the world had ever known. In our next episode, we will follow the rise of Sargon the Great. We'll journey with him from the banks of the Euphrates to the mighty walls of Uruk, as he forges an empire out of a patchwork of cities, and in doing so, changes the course of history forever. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, please like, subscribe, and join us for the next chapter.